Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Burger Guns of Freedom podcast. If you're here live, you'll see this. If you're not, you probably won't unless you remember. But thanks for coming. Let's get started by reading the names of people who bought merchandise over the last 24 hours. We got one person. It's Gina O'Melia, and she got a Save the 40 shirt, so she actually got on the Save the 40s list. So she is now on the list of the Save the 40s supporters, the roster. So thanks to her for ordering merchandise. If any of you want to support the channel by ordering merchandise, go over to my website, TYMPpistolproject.com. There's links there. You can do everything. Become a member of the channel, be a Subscribe Star member, Patreon member, enter drawings, all that stuff. A link to my Shopify. It's all over there. So go on over to shootingleftofcenter@gmail.com. With that being said, let's go see if we got any questions here. I want to answer a couple from yesterday that I didn't get to yesterday. And everybody, pay your tithe. There's 102 people here. Pay your tithe to Phil. We'd actually be able to start funding Pets and Bets again. Where were the ones I wanted to get from yesterday? Johnny Mandrick asked if the DOJ is ever going to do anything pro 2A. And I'm going to have to say no. I don't think so. Does anybody in here disagree with me? Feel free to let us know in the live chat there, but I don't think so. Johnny Mandrick also asked, how did the leaves change where I'm at now compared to West Virginia? Well, in West Virginia, we actually have a fall. There's like a month and a half of like where things slowly start to change, and eventually it's very colorful, and then things fall. Here, it's like summer one day, winter the next. And the trees, you don't even notice it. You're like, oh my God, all the leaves have turned yellow and are falling off. It's like almost instant. It's like they flip a switch. And up where I'm at, it's mostly evergreens, so you don't even notice it much right here where I'm at. You notice it more out our back window, looking down over the hill, because any of our hardwoods or broadleafs are down that way. It's all evergreens around us. So we don't really notice it that much. Let's see here. Jeffrey Vaughn asked a question that I can't answer. Let's see what the rest of you, if anybody else can answer it for him. He said, what do you guys think of a scaled cartridges? I have a 27 Hornet in the works, nearly perfect 78% scale of 357 maximum. Not something I really have a lot of experience with or much of an opinion on, but everybody out there in the live chat, feel free to weigh in, answer that for him. Let him know what you think. I'm sure some of you, maybe Ghost Shadow, got experience with that. I don't know. I don't know nothing. Micah D, who says we didn't cover this, but we did the day before, says, anybody have an opinion on Illinois' HB 3320? Manufacturers must pay into a license totaling over $886 million the first year for a license to sell in Illinois. Must pay for all shootings, even suicides, and more. And that's ridiculous. You can't hold someone accountable for someone else who breaks the law if they had nothing to do with it. If they didn't directly engage in negligence or malfeasance, you can't hold someone responsible for someone else's crime. That would not fly in our justice system. Also, putting an extremely large tax on a right and people being able to exercise that right, because they can't go to the next state and buy guns. So if people can't sell in their state, they can't buy guns. So that would be a direct infringement on people's Second Amendment rights. So that is not going to fly. I can guarantee it. That's one of those ones that would have an injunction issued against it immediately and would go nowhere. I'm not dead yet. What are your thoughts on getting a new dog or cat to liven things up? Well, I don't want a new dog or cat right now. I like the dogs and cats I have. Until one of them starts to get a little older, and I'm like, well, I need to bring in another one, get him used to everybody. It's kind of like what we did with Django. When Mavis got old, we brought in Django. Yeah. Is Todd Foose still a member? I don't think so. When are you going to visit Uganda? Never. If you had to carry a Micro 380, which would it be? Is Todd Foose and Screwed still a member of your thing? I don't think so. I can look and see, but I don't think so. Oh, that's weird that I get asked that, but let's look and see. Members. That's not how he spells his name, because I always call it Todd Foose, but I think it's Fuss, if I'm not mistaken. No, he is not a paying member. So, no. Your answer is no. In fact, get him out of here. Oops. Not do that. That's not what I meant to do. Get that out of there. Okay, yeah, that's not supposed to be there. All right. No, he's not a paying member. All right, where were we at on the questions? That was Jacoby C. who asked that question. Did I get everything over on our super chats? Let's look and see. Jason Thompson chimed in, Officer Tater Hater, and said, "You didn't need my PayPal super duper chat from last night. I sent more emails. That postal worker case of the guy having a stroke and arrested is all over the news. I saw what you sent. I also saw the thing you sent from Liberty Doll. So I saw those. I didn't get a chance to mention them last night, but I saw them. And I didn't see anything from you last night. Where is it? Oh, you came in right before Tim Fat Salami. Let's see here. What did you say? I sent you emails. I don't think Liberty Doll liked my Bubba comment, so she deleted it. But every single, yeah, okay. I doubt she would like it. I don't like it. But that should have got everything from yesterday and today. Let's see here. Sean Bain chimed in and said something. What he say? He pays $2 tab to fill. Also, headed to bed, hurting tonight. Catch the replay tomorrow, if there is one. I don't know if we're going to have one because we're probably not going to have enough for a video here. And because we're done right now. Donald Walkie is our last one, paying his $2 tithe. Why doesn't Trump have a federal agency arrest some Antifa and the people spending money on them because no one's breaking the law? So drag them into court, get all the dirt out, and start dismantling the network. That's how fight crime works. Well, because there is no network to dismantle. Antifa is an internet-based organization. That's as organized as they get, is hanging out in chat rooms together. There's no offices and this like holding big meetings and training sessions. That doesn't fucking happen. No evidence of that whatsoever. The only thing of time that's ever been mentioned is in the presidential order, and it was contradicted by the FBI, the CIA, the bank regulatory agencies, the German equivalent of the FBI. So there just doesn't seem to be any evidence to back that up. So it's kind of hard to arrest people that aren't really breaking any laws. Colin Griffith chimed in at the last minute here and said, "Hail Phil, when you are cleaning a pistol bore, do you only push the bronze brush and swabs through from chamber to muzzle, or do you go back and forth?" Well, you go back and forth. I go in and out. I want to get it from both directions, but yeah, and it doesn't take forever. It just shoot. Unless you're shooting like raw lead a lot, shouldn't be much cleaning going on at all. You're mainly just cleaning away powder residue and stuff. So it shouldn't take that much to do it. Breaking the law. I think it was breaking the law. I remember that from something. Let's see, where are we at? We don't got any emails. We got Audited 2 sent me an email asking, do you have a CZ75 compact? If so, how do you like it? I have my eye on it. I do not have a CZ75 compact. I used to have, what is it, the SP01 or something like that, but I've never, or PO1, no, I think it's SP01. What is it? I forget the number. But I do not have a compact. I have two regular size 75s, and I have the Shadow 2 carry, but all my other CZs are full size, like the Shadow 2 and the CZ Orange, the Tacticool Orange. I don't have the compact. In fact, when I was buying the grips last night for the Shadow 2, I was having a hard time because every time I would search for Shadow 2 carry or compact grips, it would show me CZ75 compact grips. So I was like, well, do those fit? So I had to go down a rabbit hole looking on all the CZ forums to finally find consensus that no, the CZ75 compact grips do not fit the Shadow 2 compact grips. So, but the Shadow 2 compact and Shadow 2 carry, they take the same grips. And when I ordered the CZ grips, they charged an outrageous amount for shipping. And then they say you're going to owe a tariff when it arrives, that you have to pay it. So they said, be prepared to know you're paying an extra fee when FedEx drops off your package. It'll be money due. And I was like, what the fuck? That's bullshit. That's what that is. That's bullshit. Bullshit. No more questions over there. No more questions via email. I answered that one about the when are you going to visit Uganda? I don't know where that came from. I ain't visiting in Uganda. I don't want to go anywhere like Uganda. I mean, I wouldn't mind going somewhere and going on a safari, I guess, but I can go to the zoo. And one of my favorite things about the zoo is that they're in cages. That there's walls between us, so I don't gotta worry about that. All right, that looks like we might be pretty much done. Let me see if there's anything over in the live chat. I heard today that there is a YouTube pilot program to allow banned channels to possibly start over again a year after they're banned. Good luck. Maybe a year from whenever they get rid of me, I'll be able to come back. I love this channel and this community. Even the ones I disagree with, debate and discussion is how we grow. Thanks, Yankee Marshall, for having rational conversations. Well, they're not always rational because those ones people don't react to as well. It's better when you get a little heated with each other. Get my email chat. Yes, I did. I got it. Did you get snow yesterday? We got snow in the Cascades. Snoqualmie Pass, Blewett. I don't know what that is. Stevens Pass, and had snow and some closures. I seen that there was a snow alert for Mount Hood and Government Camp, but no, we didn't get nothing. We're only at 1,300 feet, so we got nothing. It was chilly, and rainy, but nothing bad. Today was sunny. It's cold. It was cool. It was like only 45 degrees, but it was windy as fuck out there today. I mean, windy as fuck. You almost get blown over. It's kind of like it's like going up to ever gone up to Crown Point. How windy it is up there is what it was like here today. Do you bother having a rotating line for shooting your guns, or do some never get shot? Some just never get shot because what's the point of shooting every Beretta you have? I don't see the point in it. Every Beretta 92, especially the ones that are like more for collectors, like the Wilson Combats and stuff. Why shoot them when you got another Beretta 92 right next to it that's not as expensive as you can shoot? Would you please post last night's chat? I'm going to try. Does the Second Amendment have exceptions as written? No, none is written. And the whole notion that the founding fathers were just too stupid to put exceptions in there or to not consider what it'd be like as technology evolved. Of course they did. And making the technology argument is like saying that, well, the First Amendment can't be absolute now because we have the internet. Back in the founders' day, if you wanted people to hear something, you had to go stand on a box in the town square, and then you could reach, 30 or 40 people. Now you can sit in your living room and say whatever you want anonymously. So First Amendment is obviously outdated. That's the same argument people make with guns all the time. Did you send my deputy patch for Patreon? I do believe so. Didn't I send you something? I thought I did. I can go look at hold on. What's the real name again? Avery. I got to go to my Avery account. Projects. Let's see. The last one I sent. Where is it? Patches, October 7th. Here's the people I sent to. And then there were a couple other ones other than, why is that not opening anything? I'm getting a blank screen. What the fuck is wrong with Avery? Open project. There, it's finally doing something. All right. Corey Long, John Heasley, Mike D, Don Google, Ryan Hyatt, although he does not have his yet because it's still sitting there on my desk because he lives in Vancouver over not too far from the gun shop. So I'm just going to throw it in my car and drop it on his doorstep when I go over there. Save myself some money. Only a couple bucks, but still. Hunter Barker. Why did I got Hunter Barker twice? Colin Hepburn. Fernando, Glenn Thomas, Stefan Pearson, Eduardo Gonzalez, and Paul Ash. Those are the people I just sent patches to. And I think a couple of those were knives too. And people were getting them already, so they should be there. I think a lot of people got them on Saturday. So if you weren't one of those people, you should have got them today, maybe tomorrow. James Kirker says, your thoughts, Qatar Air Force training in Idaho. I don't know. We've had lots of things like that before. I don't know about bringing over Qatar, but, my knowledge of Qatar is not up to date. Back in the day, associated with Qatar, or we used to call it Qatar. It's called Qatar now, I guess. Just like how we used to call Kiev or Kiev. It's Kiev, I guess, but we always called Qatar. I don't ever remember anybody correcting us, but on either of those things. But as I was, and usually they're pretty strict on that in the military. They want you to pronounce things right. But getting to the question. Back in the day, associating with Qatar wasn't the same as associating with like Saudi Arabia or UAE. They all kind of had their own differences. And although nowadays, I'm not sure if it's not all money's brought everybody together. So I am not up on but it's not something I'm immediately offended off of. But, and they got to get something for all the money they're giving Kushner. But yeah, the only thing I don't like is I don't like Saudi Arabia getting normalization through money, buying shit, investing in America and buying American properties and American businesses. I don't like that because they are a backwards ass fucking country and they don't need to be. They are a human rights violation nightmare, and trying to normalize that because they got money shows you what's wrong with the world. But Qatar, I don't know. Like I said, it's not something I immediately am upset about. If someone pointed out something upsetting about it, that might be different. But right now, I'm not immediately. Back when I was in the military, we had different groups from different places come and train. I remember when I was in Huachuca, Arizona, we had troops from India there training. So, I don't know. Ghost Shadow says, got a bunch of family farms around my area. Yeah, they buy them up. They used to do that back in the day after like the Great Depression. They used to do that where the banks would take the properties with the help of the government and their cronies in the government. And what they would do is, since there were laws that said, if you owned a farm that was worth, $100,000, but you only owed $20,000 on it, the bank couldn't sell it for $100,000 and keep all of it. If they made anything over $20,000, they had to refund you the part that they weren't owed. So what they would do is they would have these agents that went around and pretended like they're private buyers, and they would bid pennies on the dollar, like whatever they were owed, whatever the bank was owed, they would bid that. They would own it as if they were a private owner, but the bank really still owed it, and the money would all end up still going back to all the bank investors. They would own all the property, and it would get used by the bank. But luckily, people at the time started figuring that out, and locals started showing up at the auctions armed and said, anybody that bids on it other than the widow that owns it is getting shot in the face. So they eventually had to start sending federal marshals to the auctions, but it was a problem. But people took care of it there for a while. There is a stray cat that I feed on Wednesday evenings. I always have to chase peacocks away from the cat's food. Peacocks will eat meat. Peacocks will eat you if they got a chance, I think. They're like geese. Geese would eat you if they got a chance too. If they could eat you, if they could figure out a way to hold you down and rip the flesh from your body, I think geese would do that, because geese are pretty much evil. Let's see, did we get anything coming in over here? We did, actually. We got Christian Carlson chimed in and said, what did he say? 1911 Commander versus full size for carry. All steel. I carry a GI model, but the barrel is a little long when seated in a car, inside waistband at like 4 o'clock. Also, I'd also like a Pieta Trio SAA clone or Alaskan too. Boy, you got a lot of wants. So do I just got no money. Just like what you say, no dollars. Commanders are fine. That's probably my favorite size 1911, other than my 6-inch. I love the 6-inch. So it's like I either like them really big or 4 inches. So I don't know what you call that. It's not a size queen because you like the 4-inch too. So, but the 6-inch is also a little long when you're sitting down. I will say that. But if you get a holster that rides along your hip instead of straight up and down from your belt line, if it's got more of a curve to it, more of an angle to it, it's better. But if Django or Turnip hadn't eaten my goddamn holster for that gun, that 1791 made specifically for me and sent it to me so I could test it, if he hadn't eaten the motherfucker, I'd still have it. I'd still be carrying that gun quite often. But Turnip ate it. But yeah, I'd like to. I had a Pieto, not a Trio, but I had their we call it Bisley. Oh, that was a nice gun. I'll tell you what. Colin Griffin paid his $2 tithe to Phil and said, on the bore question, just to clarify, some people take the brush on the muzzle side before pulling the rod back out. I think this is silly, but figure it out. It doesn't make any difference. It doesn't matter. Go in from the end that's easiest and just come back. It don't matter. As long as you run it both ways. Like if you stick it in from the open end and you pull it up into the barrel, into the breech, and then you pull it back, that's the same thing as starting it on this end. It doesn't matter which way you're starting it. It just matters which way you move it when it's in there. Django, what are you upset about? Hold on, Django's upset. He's starting to bark. He's out there. Django will walk in front of the car. He ain't that goddamn smart. All right, I think we're about done. Let me check. Got a picture of a kitty, I think. Or it might be a video of a kitty. Hold on. Share screen, window. Share. There, get that kitty. That's a big old gray kitty. Alfie. He wants out. He said, I want out. Although it looks like he's going to an office and he's going to work. Django is always very anxious to go to work. Whenever he knows it's time to come out here for us to either work on videos or do our live chat, especially because that's at a certain time every day, he is so anxious to get out here. It's like he does not like to be late for work. He does not like to be late. He's got a very good work ethic. Let's see if we got any more questions over here. Sunday night man suffers severe injuries after Seattle machete attack. 20-foot blood trail at scene. Okay. It's just bad news. I don't like to hear other people's misery all that much, but clams can move because they have feet, but oysters are immobile. Oysters are completely at the mercy of nature and whatever chooses to prey on them. I liked oysters at one point in my time. I never have liked clams. I've never been a fan of clams or anything. Two big right-wing lawyers are filing against Trump under the 14th Amendment for the insurrection. That ain't going nowhere. One thing I remembered about Washington State winters is the slushy snow. The sun melts the snow and turns it into ugly, dirty slush. Well, we don't have that problem up here so much because it's much colder up here. We get actual large amounts of snow. But the problem we do have is it'll snow and then the sun will melt a little bit on the top of it, but then it freezes back when it snows again. So you end up with ice. Like the first layer of snow just turns to ice, and then you get snow on top of that, then some more ice, and then snow on top of that, some ice. So it's miserable. It's impossible to get through too. You're not getting through it with nothing. Let's see here. I think we're about done with the questions. Was that a song, Breaking the Law? I think so. Let's see. Where's I at? You could always be on a Columbia River cruise. You know, I see those that people advertise them, the Columbia River cruises, but I never see any. There's something that comes up on Instagram all the time about Columbia River cruise, but I never find anything. When you go to click on it, it shows you stuff in Europe and everything. Now there's like the dinner boat cruises and stuff like that. I've done those. There's the Sternwheeler. I've done that. But they advertise things like where it's like a 3-night trip up and down, you know, where you stay in a cabin and all that stuff. But I never actually find anything about it. I have tried. I have looked. Just it doesn't happen. So I don't know what. I don't know why. It just doesn't happen. Katie Porter, who's running for governor of California, dumped a scalding hot bowl of mashed potatoes on her then husband's head. She has got an anger control problem. Well, maybe he needed that. I remember one of my earliest memories is my mom and dad getting in a fight. I'm probably about 3 years old, maybe 4. My mom, because my sister is still in a high chair. My mom and dad get in. She don't remember this because she was too young. My mom and dad to get in a fight. And my mom had a china cabinet that she loved. It was one of her prized possessions. They got it for their wedding. It was a china cabinet. And she also got these things. I don't remember if anybody remembers like Finger Hut and all those things. But one of the things they sold were these big wooden fork and spoon. There was a great big walnut fork and spoon you could hang on your wall. And we had that too. Well, my mom and my dad got in a fight. And they started screaming at each other. And things escalated. And my dad and my mom hit my dad. So my dad walked over and he put his fist through her china cabinet, which was like her prized possession. I remember him putting his fist through that china cabinet, and he pulls his fist out and he goes to turn around. And as he turns around, my mom had picked the spoon off the wall, that big, it's like a baseball bat, basically, except bigger. And as he turned around, she swung with all her might and caught him right square in the face with the base of that spoon, snapped it in half. He came completely off his feet, hit the ground, and then she picked us up and left as he was laying there. Sometimes things happen when you're married. That's one of the reasons, I guess, not to get married for some people, but things happen sometimes. You got to be able to let it slide or you ain't staying married. Well, they did not stay married, by the way, because not long after that, my mom had a third child, and it don't look nothing like my dad. It looks like their neighbor. In fact, it turned out it was their neighbors, because that's why they have a different dad. And then she married him and had another kid by him. So two of my brothers were Haze's. Excuse me. Have you heard of the new hub sons phenomenon? You might want your kids to become hub sons. I don't know what that means. Is that anything like magic? Do they do that shit already? Do you still sell your superhero shirt from 10 years ago? I need this. What superhero shirt from 10 years ago? I didn't sell merch 10 years ago, so I don't think it'd be mine. I didn't start selling merchandise till just a few years ago. I never got mine. I'm a ways from you. Did I read your name? If I read your name, you should get it. Your knife ain't sent yet. I'm sending all that stuff tomorrow. Are you going to watch the new Predator movie? Don't worry, it's not the one with Chris Hansen. Chris Hansen. That's the guy who To Catch a Predator. I never saw that show, but I'm aware of it. It comes out on November 7th. When it comes on pay-per-view or for free, maybe I'll watch it. Last night we watched the Fantastic Four movie. I paid $25 to watch that piece of shit. It wasn't very good. I mean, I won't say I didn't like it. It was okay, and it was kind of a weird take on the Fantastic Four being, it's Earth 828. So it's not Earth 16 or anything, or 616. It's not Earth 616. It's Earth 828. So it's a different timeline, which, means you could forgive it's the 50s, but everything's kind of super technologically advanced. It's a weird combination of analog and digital, and you can forgive all that because it's a different world. But it was a little short on the science. It kind of bothered me, especially about they travel faster than light speeds away from Earth, and they come back, and it's been a month. And the fact they have to go the last big section of it at 0.8% light speed to get back to Earth. And yet still Galactus can't catch him, even though the Silver Surfer has been going back and forth. She's been to Earth back and then to Earth again. So the science wasn't adding up. There was something else that bothered me about the science. What was something else that bothered me? I don't remember what it was, but something really, really bothered me. And I was like, well, they didn't bother to figure that out. What was it? I can't remember what it was now. I don't remember. But something pissed me off. Yeah, I don't remember what it was, but something pissed me off. Like I say, it just wasn't a whole lot of science in it. It was very like old 1960s and 70s comic books where they just said it, so it's true. That seemed to be part of it. Had Israeli, Egyptian, and Saudi Arabian Air Force training in the U.S. Yeah, there's all kinds of different people training here. Whenever someone says Cutter, I always ask, is it a Qatari 2600 or 7800? A Qatari. Well, why would anyone call it Qatari? I don't remember there being an I on it. Yankee does not like the Cobra chickens, geese. Now, geese are mean and fuck. I don't like hate them, and I wouldn't go out of my way to hurt one, but I don't want to be around them either. Got no desire to be near them or anything like that. Are we almost done? Yes. We might need to specify on the board brush topic that needs to be right size brush. Otherwise, you might not be able to easily reverse direction. Well, who uses the wrong size brush? Are you thinking some people in here might be retarded? Are there some retarded people in here that don't know to use the right size brush? Why do you think it comes with all those different tips and stuff? Where's my patch and knife? Well, did I read your name? If I read your name, it got sent to you. You don't like clam chowder? I like clam chowder, but I'll tell you what, I like seafood chowder better because the clams are the worst part of it. They're fucking chewy. I'd rather have seafood chowder, like a salmon chowder. Like make it with, instead of putting the clams in, I'll use baby shrimp and salmon. Much better. Much better. Sometimes I'll still put some clams in too, so it's really, really seafoody. Really. Sound like Twiggy. Really. Remember him? Really. You know, that was Mel Blanc. Well, except for like a few episodes, it was Mel Blanc. And he got pissed and didn't show up for a few weeks or something. But I love that show. I love Buck Rogers when I was a kid. Remember, started off as a movie. Actually, I think it was supposed to be a TV show. But they said, well, let's release it in the movie theaters. And Star Wars is so popular. So they released it in the theaters. And I remember going and seeing it. And I absolutely fucking loved that movie. I can still remember tonight, to this day, coming back from the theater. I went and watched it by myself, even though I was just a kid. I was probably like 78. I was probably like 12 years old. What year was it? The Buck Rogers movie. Hold on. Let me look it up. Buck Rogers movie. What year was that? It was 79. So I was like 11, 12, 13. In that range. So I wasn't old. I was just like a teen, just first becoming a teenager. So I went and saw it by myself. I didn't have any friends that were going or anything. So I just went by myself. I lived with my grandparents. So I lived in a neighborhood that was mostly old people. So I didn't really have a lot of friends outside school. I didn't have a lot of friends that lived near me, just a few. So I went by myself, watched that movie, loved that movie. I still remember coming home that night, going to bed, and being like euphoric just from watching that movie. Remember back when a movie could just make you super happy when you were a kid because you just loved it so much? That was me in that movie. And I was the same way with Star Wars. Same thing with Star Wars. Loved it. But that movie was, but that was 2 years prior. So let's see. Where was I at? What was I talking about? Is there something wrong with my audio? Did someone say there's something wrong with my audio? I don't think I am muted. I think people can hear me. Y'all can hear me, right? He can hear us. So let's see, where was I at? Get rid of this motherfucker. He just bitching about, we're telling him it ain't, it's him. He's gone. Let's see here. Must be Honda. It's somebody. They think they're clever. The Dudley Boys had their official last match this weekend. Even Spike returned for it. Well, why was I thinking Spike Dudley was dead? It's not Spike Dudley. It's Crash Holly is dead. I get those two confused quite a bit. Spike Dudley, I saw him not too long ago. He looks like an aging accountant. I don't. He's a little guy, so. Mr. Fantastic's body in Earth 828 can only be stretched 100 feet before he begins to suffer. Yeah, that's not very far, is it? And in the movie, I mean, it's not even 100 feet when Galactus is stretching him. It's like, what, 40, 50 feet, and he's starting to tear. I was like, that's pathetic. It's really pathetic. It's called Earth 828 because Jack Kirby's birthday was August 28th. Better pissed off than pissed on, unless you're into that, then go with the flow. Yeah, I don't know how people are into that, but some people are. I will say that. Avo357 said, Yanks, thoughts on the SIG 1911 X-Carry stainless for EDC? I love the SIG 1911s. They made great 1911s. They were one of the last ones making the 357 SIG 1911s. So I like them. If you want to carry it, yeah, that'd be a good gun to carry. I'm not the biggest 1911 lover in the world. I mean, I'm not someone who, idolizes them like some people do, but I'm not like, well, they perfected guns with the 19. No, I don't think there's a lot better guns, but they are nice and they're simple and easy to use and easy to carry and all that stuff. So I'm all right with it. 4.58 brush in a 45 can be an issue. Sorry if I missed it, but did you see the Buffalo Bore video discussing how Underwood Ammo copied their products? I don't see a lot of I think when I think of Underwood, I think of the solid copper rounds. That's what I know them for. I don't really think of, but how do you copy them? Last I checked, Buffalo Bore doesn't use their own bullets. They just do their own loadings, and anybody can do a similar loading. Doesn't Buffalo get their bullets from somebody else? Don't they use like spear bullets? And so what the fuck did they copy? Yeah, I don't understand. Because I always think of Underwood as the solid copper rounds, and I don't think Buffalo did many solid coppers, did they? I always think of them as more of a, hard cast and regular hollow points and full metal, stuff like that. I don't really think of them as what do you call it? We can hear you. Your audio has been fine the whole time. That's what I figured. Star Wars: A New Hope on cable TV was all the rage back in the day. I was born when it came out in the theater. I wasn't born when it came out in the theater. I was definitely born when it came out. I saw it in the theater multiple times. Liked it. Back in my day, we used to be able to go over down to the State Theater, and for $2, you could get in on a Saturday or Sunday afternoon. You could get in for the matinees, and for $2, you got your ticket, you got a popcorn, a soda, and a candy bar. So we would get $2. That was a lot of money to me back then. Or you would go down and get our ticket, a soda. And if you came for the first matinee, there were 2 matinees. If you came for the first one, you could just sit and stay in the second one too. So I did that quite often. And then they opened up a multiplex over in Gallipolis. And if you get a ride over there, because it's too far to take your bike, if you get a ride over there, you could stay and watch 3 movies because there was a triplex, and you could pay to get into the earliest showing and stay throughout the whole day and watch like 3 different movies. If you snuck from theater to theater. We thought we were being all sneaky back in the day, but people weren't just didn't give a fuck. I'm surprised we haven't seen more videos about the accusations against Underwood Ammo and Mike B. Well, I'm like, what did they steal, really? Does Underwood make their own? I don't think they make their own rounds. They don't make their own bullets or casings. They buy those on the market. And then the only thing that's, I guess, would be proprietary would be their loading. But how do you make a loading proprietary, really? Because, anybody can put that much powder. I don't know sure what it matters. It's like, it'd be one thing if you were like Hornady and you're making your own rounds with the, the rubber tips and all that stuff, and then another company starts making the exact same bullet, that would be theft. But if you're buying your bullets from someone else and someone else buys bullets from the same source and makes similar loadings, is that really theft of product? There might be more to it than that, because like I said, I don't know the story, but right off the bat, I'm not seeing where it's coming from. I mean, if anybody's got more information, let me know, but I don't know much about it, to be honest. Put that on a long list of things I don't know a whole lot about. Let me make sure we're all caught up on the supers. We are. There wasn't enough to do a drawing, not even close. I've got all the emails. That's a video from Officer Tater Hater. So I got all the email questions. I think that was it over here. Oh, no, there's one or two more, maybe. Robert, yes, that is what they talk about. It's an interesting video. Can you watch and review? Would be a great video. What's what they talk about? What did they talk about? That's what the video said. Basically, a former employee said they would buy Underwood ammo and copy powders to match performance. That's just a loading. I mean, anybody can heavy load their ammo to whatever they want. I don't see how that's theft, really. Don't think that would constitute theft, because what are you? What's your property there? You didn't make the powder. You didn't make the primer. You didn't make the bullet. You didn't make the casing. You just decided how much of something you were going to put in the casing. So I don't see how that's theft. Yeah. I mean, what are you copying? Just like, oh, I like this round. I'm going to put the same amount of powder in it that they have. Well, most of that information can be found in a book. Most of the loadings Underwood use are older loadings, like older heavy loadings that they found in a book and then maybe did some tweaking to. So I'm not sure. Maybe I'm missing something, but I'm not understanding where the theft is at here. But like I said, maybe I'm missing something. I often miss things. And people have to explain stuff to me so that I understand it. Sean Coleman chimed in over on the Super Chat side and said he don't want to get Lyme disease. No, hardly anybody paid their tithe. There's over 100 people in here, and hardly anybody paid their tithe. Bunch of deadbeats are all going to get Lyme disease or syphilis, one or the other. I don't care which one it gives you, but I hope it's syphilis, because someone said yesterday Lyme disease is not really that bad. It's not usually fatal. Found out I'm having a boy. Unlike my father, I will be there for him in celebration. I'm thinking about getting a Beretta 1301 Tom Tactical C Mod 2 semi-auto shotgun. What are your thoughts? I love the Beretta shotguns. I would love to have one of the Langdon Tactical Beretta shotguns. Are you getting it for your kid so someday it'll be his, or are you just getting it to celebrate that your dick works? Whichever way, I love the Beretta shotguns. In fact, if I could go back right now and do it again, instead of buying my Benelli, I might have bought a Beretta. If I could have bought the Beretta from Langdon Tactical, I would definitely trade my Benelli for it. Because I got the M4, and I really like the M4, but I would trade it in a moment for the Beretta from Langdon Tactical. So there you go. Yeah, that's kind of like what I was like with my kids. I'm going to be part of my kids' life. My dad was not a part of my life, had no interest in being a part of my life, or my sister's. Now, my brother and sister from his second marriage, they thought he was a wonderful dad. He stuck around for them. He did for them. He took care of them. He never did anything for us. It was like once he got his new family, his old family didn't matter anymore. Now, his new wife probably never knocked him out with a big wooden spoon, but she was fucking crazy. It was always a nightmare. I remember she found a picture in his wallet from his wedding to my mom. He had a picture stuffed in the back of his wallet of his wedding picture with my mom. And she freaked out. And we were staying there with them in Indiana at the time. It was Indianapolis. We were visiting for the summer. And, like 2 weeks in the summer, we'd go up there every now and then. It didn't happen often, but And I think it was because my mom was having surgery was why he had to take us for 2 weeks, because my mom wasn't going to be able to take care of us for a couple of weeks. So she was having surgery on her varicose veins because she worked all the time. Well, she found that picture in his wallet, and I remember she swallowed a bottle of baby aspirin, tried to overdose, and then ran off into the apartment complex and passed out by the pool, or pretended to pass out by the pool. He didn't know what she'd taken. Turned out it was baby aspirin. But she's a nut job. Nut job. So he got what he deserved dealing with her. I'll tell you. All right, let's see. Where were we at? But yes, I say 100% get that. And definitely try to be a better father than yours was. I don't understand. I have no respect for a man that doesn't take care of his children. And I don't just mean, I send money for them. If you're not part of your child's life, then you ain't much of a fucking man, and they should cut your fucking dick off. Now, granted, I'm biased, and I don't even want to hear things like, well, I would, but the mom don't let me. Well, then you go to fucking court and you get your rights to do so. Whether their mom likes it or not, they're your kids. You're just using that as an excuse. It's like how I said people are willing to believe whatever as long as it justifies their fear. It's the same thing. People are willing to use whatever excuse as long as it justifies their laziness and their desire to not be part of their children's lives. So if you're a father and you do not take care of your children, you're not worth much. That's my opinion. And all these things when they're like, well, I would, but my kids would disown me. Well, then you're probably a piece of shit. Because if a kid disowns a parent, I've almost never seen it be the kid's fault. It's the parent's fault. It's like when people say stuff to me like, oh, you think you should make up with your dad? Why the fuck would it be on me to make up with my dad? In this relationship, even though I'm in my 50s, I'm still the child. And he was still the adult, the parent who did wrong. So it's not on me to make our relationship better. I didn't have a father the first part of my life. I didn't need one the second part. I didn't have one when I was a kid. I didn't need one when I was grown. So I don't understand that people think, it's your responsibility to try to make it right. No, it is not. Thank you. Just wanted your thoughts. Thought it might be worth a watch. Well, you can send me the link. I'll watch it. But like I said, I don't understand. I mean, I have no problem weighing in on it if I can understand what they're talking about. But like I said, I can't guarantee that I'll be able to add anything. But yeah, my thoughts are basically it's if it's just loadings, that's not really a theft. Because I'll be like, how did you develop your loadings? And how hard was it to I'm going to add an extra couple pieces, extra couple grains, another extra couple grains. Oop, now it blew up. Let's go back a couple grains. It's not hard. Doesn't seem that hard to me. Does it seem that hard to the rest of you? But don't seem that hard to me. And I don't even reload. Maybe that's why it doesn't seem hard to me, because I don't reload. Where are we at? Well, we're past time, aren't we? But I don't have to go in yet. So I'll see if there's any more questions here. We might be out of questions, though. To be fair, Yankee, you seem like you'd be a handful as a kid. No, I was not. I was a very good kid. I was well behaved. I was very quiet and reserved. Spent a lot of time alone. I enjoyed being alone. That's, the autism. Back then you were just shy and quiet. So I was shy and quiet, got straight A's. I was an excellent student, never even had to study and got straight A's. School was one of the easiest things I ever went through. He's generalizing. No, I'm not generalizing. If you do not take part in your children's life, well, then you're probably the problem. 99% of the time, you're going to be the problem. You're the father. Don't care if your wife is crazy. I've heard people, oh, my wife's so crazy, she threatened to kill me if I come around the kids. Well, then you have her put in jail and you take the kids. And if you aren't fighting every second to do that, well, then you don't care about your kids if you're leaving them in that situation. You're not going to get off the hook with me. Even if your wife turns your kids against you, if you're not actively there, you know what's when it's really hard to do that? When you're actually involved. They don't usually, I worked for CPS. I sat in the courtroom many, many times with cases like this. And usually the mothers who were effective in turning the kids against their father, it's because the father wasn't there to tell their side of the story. So be there to tell your side of the story. All right. I think we're all caught up. I think I got everything. I don't think we got any more emails or super chats to go for. The one night I had more time, I don't got any questions. Let's see here. Make sure we're caught up. Yes, we are caught up. Hold on. I'm trying to see. Did they ever update the? Yes, they did. Yay. Yay, they updated. And it looks like I might have gotten the super chats from last night. Let me look and see. Let me go to advanced mode. Let's see what we made. Last night we made a total. Wait, that's views. I was like, what? We made $150. No, that's views on a video. Let's see. Where do I get to? Where's revenue? Aha, revenue. Boom, boom, boom. How much did we make on super chats last night? Where's it at? We made a total of for the day of $39.85. $3 of that was a gifted membership. 62 cents was YouTube Red, actually YouTube Premium. And it was like $39.85, $36.85 was super chat. So yay, we got to keep our super chats from last night. That's good. Did you ever read the super chats from last night that you missed? Yes, we started off with those. Were you not paying attention? That's Homeless Ginger. Yes, I started off with the ones from last night today. We went back through them. And we actually got them from last night, too. We got the super chats. So, yay. It's probably because I haven't reposted it. If I haven't reposted it yet. So, hopefully they won't review it. I've got it on private. If I make it unlisted again, they'll probably review it. So, that ain't great. But yes, I did do them. Where was I? I think we're done. Let me make sure we're all caught up on emails. I got to reboot these. So that's good news. We kept the super chats from last night and everything. I don't know if I answered the super chats from the YouTube, though. Hold on. Let me make sure I didn't miss any super chats from YouTube from last night. I can go to a page for that, too. Oh, no, they won't show up. Oh, no, wait, they will show up. Okay. Too many tops, never enough bottoms is what Nominal Snowman said. He was really hooked on the tops and bottoms things last night. I don't know what was going on in his life. I agree with you on most topics, but you are dead wrong about Antifa. They are very well funded and very well organized. Where are you getting that information? Because I did massive amounts of studying last night and couldn't find anything. Everything was to the contrary. Read the FBI report, read the CIA report, read the National Banking Association reports, read the German reports, read all of them and see if your information's coming from anywhere. Getting it from the internet, maybe. They are not well funded. They do not have a banking network. They do not have any of that stuff, period. And it's obvious if you've ever seen them. If you've ever actually been in a spot they were at, it's pretty obvious. So all these people that are saying they're well-funded and they're all this, I don't know where they're getting that bullshit because they aren't getting it from the people that can tell, like the FBI, the CIA, the regulatory agencies. They all say the opposite. The only group that has said that what they're repeating is like the right-wing talking heads and President Trump. So it's just garbage. Homesteading with Soulless Ginger said, okay, I was late. It's been a shitty day, but it's getting better. Well, good. I'm glad it's getting better. My day actually wasn't that bad. Like I said, I got my taxes done. All I got to do is piddly stuff, like getting your PIN number put in and all of those stuff to sign and get it electronically filed. I'm going to do that after the chat. And I'm actually getting back some money. By the time I pay the fees for the TurboTax and everything, I might make $800 back, just over, unless they audit me again or something. So I don't want to jinx myself, but I'm actually getting money back. But it's because I had to put so much of my own money into pets and vets this year. That's why I'm getting money back. But still, it was a nice surprise. So I was happy. Of course, now I'm going to get the money lust. If I get some money in my hands, I might actually be able to buy a gun. I might actually be able to buy that Henry Axe with the stain with the brass what do you call it, receiver that I want. It's because I'm giving away my original Henry brass. Homesteading with Soulless Ginger said, for the fur babies and just to keep you going, why aren't you doing this through PayPal so I get to keep the money? I might get to keep half of this, so that would be good. But let give some money to YouTube so that they don't get rid of us. That's at least a plus, I guess. Where was I at? Oh, I was reading these over here. Hey Yankee, I love my 4th shillelagh and I plan on training with it as a weapon for shit hit the fan. I want a shillelagh. I don't have one. I want one, but I don't have one. I would like to have one. I've always wanted one, but don't have one. I remember I showed the picture last night. He had a shillelagh. How do we know Matt didn't do that? I read that last night. Matt likes them Latinas. I read that last night. Real Thread is 2 minute bottoms. They got that again. I don't know what's going on. It won't let me. I guess I broke it the other day. Maybe. Or maybe my link's bad. I don't know. Not very many people did today. So maybe it's not working for a lot of people. I only got like 3 or 4 people over there. Where are we at? Biggest threat is the manipulated news, that's the stuff from the previous part of the chat. So yeah, okay, we got all the super chats from yesterday on both YouTube and PayPal. So we're all caught up on that. When we do the group chats, like the No FUD Zone or Shooting Left to Center, it really gets hard to keep up with the chats. The only ones you can actually see easily are the YouTube super chats. But it gets to be difficult. So I always have to tell people, hopefully we'll get to them. We might not, but hopefully we will, and we'll do what we can. If not, we'll answer them the next day. So come back the next day. People don't want to come back next day. That's the thing. They're like, I can only take 1 day of this. All right, let's make sure we're still caught up on all the chats in the live chat. Take my money for the fur babies. All right, that's enough. You're giving YouTube too much money. We don't want to give YouTube too much money. So thank you, but chill out. You're gonna go broke. You don't want to go broke. You don't go for broke. Never go full broke. All that yelling makes you hard. I like the yelling sometimes. I mean, I don't understand why people are so adverse to discourse. You got to be able to have discourse, especially with people and ain't no one going to punch you in the face. People are so adverse to it these days. They act like anybody raises their voice. Well, then they obviously don't have a point. Well, no, or maybe they got a good point and they want you to hear it. So make way. Let's see here. I don't know what that is. Nothing in the Shooting Left to Center email. All right, that's it for today. I want to thank everybody for coming. I appreciate it. I will see you all again tomorrow. Hopefully we'll have more questions and stuff. We're barely piecing together today. But thanks everyone for coming. I appreciate it, especially everybody who helped support the channel and all that stuff. I will see you all again tomorrow. Until then, remember, always carry and stay safe till I see you again.